Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Cody, the Rad Retro Dad, and today we're going to talk about this pretty cool cabinet right here. This is a 1943 Battle for Midway, and I got this from a friend. It was in his grandmother's garage. So I purchased it from her, and now it's in my basement. When I got it, it worked really well, but the screen had some really bad burn-in. But the game still worked. So what I did is I swapped out the old monitor for an LCD screen. And I know a lot of people, there's a lot of purists out there when it comes to arcades. And I've converted mine over to LCD, all of my cabinets, because I've just had problem after problem with those old tube monitors. And I just don't want to spend the time to fix them. So LCD is a great option. And so after I did that, it opened up some other options. And I'm going to get into what's in this. This has a Pandora's box in it. And it's a themed Pandora's box. Like I said, I like themes. And all my cabinets are themed a certain way. So this one is themed as vertical shooters. So I'm going to grab the camera and I'm just going to kind of show you inside this cabinet a little bit and show you how I got it hooked up. When I first started these videos, I told you guys I was going to show you a super easy mode for adding arcade to your home, and this is the video I'm going to do that. I'm going to basically show you two different options for adding a really cool arcade experience into your home. So let's go ahead and let's get into this. All right, so let's just kind of take a look at this cabinet really quick. This cabinet was in really good shape, especially the artwork. The only thing is the light bulb went out in the marquee. I gotta replace that. But other than that, this cabinet is in really good shape. I did replace the controls because the controllers, they were pretty rough. So I put some X-Arcade sticks in there and some X-Arcade buttons. And X-Arcade makes a great controller, and it holds up to a massive beating. So right here I've got a coin button wired up, but you can still use the original coin door. It's still operational. It's hooked up. So this is the side. Got the side art. There are some like nicks and dings in it, but you know what? I kind of like that. Kind of shows like a history of it. The cabinet itself. So then you got another like weird, like I don't know if this is water damage or if like somebody hit it with something. But yeah, but I mean it's got all the original speakers in there and everything, and the switch is up here underneath this Diablo 4 action figure. So let me show you what's inside. So there used to be a 1943 arcade board in there, but I actually took that board out and I traded it for this Pac-Man cabinet over here. And this Pac-Man cabinet was originally a Smash TV, but again, it didn't have a game or anything, and it was just the box, just the cabinet. So I traded it for it. The guy needed another arcade board for a vertical shooter, and he needed to get rid of that cabinet, so I helped him out. All right, so let's take a look inside here. So it is kind of a mess, but what I have here, I kind of propped it up here, is I have a Pandora's box, and this one's called Air Attack. This is an all-in-one arcade computer, basically. It has a really cool front end, which I'll show you. And you have this button right here that will go into the settings. So you push that, and you can go in, you can adjust like how many coins it takes to play a game, how much time there is in between selecting a game, just different options. And you can even go into each individual game and change their settings individually. It's really quite extensive. And then it's got a volume rocker right there. And then you can see I've got my LCD monitor hooked up here. So if you come around to this side, this is the hornet's nest right here, the rat's nest, I mean. But this is what's called a JAMMA harness. And if you've got an existing arcade cabinet, then you most likely have a board that's in there that's hooked to a JAMMA harness, which is basically just a big wire mess of that. This basically wires up your entire machine. It goes to your controls, it goes to your coin box. It even has like video out to go to your old tube monitors as well, and it has the power supply right down there, which connects into this JAMMA harness as well. So everything is in there, and in most cases, you don't have to mess with these wires. You just take that harness, unplug it off of your old board, and connect it to the Pandora box. And there are a couple different options when it comes to Pandora's boxes. You can get just a full LCD USB port, standard power supply, and it won't have a JAMMA harness on it. And you can just hook it up to your TV, and they oftentimes have like a HDMI port as well. So, but if you want to have like a genuine arcade experience, and you just happen to like find an arcade cabinet somewhere and it has a JAMMA harness on it, then you just plug that in, plug in your, you may have to, depending on which version of the box you buy, you may have to hook up a VGA monitor to it, which is like an LCD monitor. But some of them do support the old monitors, so you just kind of got to watch when you're buying them. And I'll show you some buying options at the end of this video. So just one more look at the inside of this. Like it turned up, and maybe you can see up there. So that's the inside. All right, get back up on my feet here. So we're gonna take a look at this and show you kind of what the games are on here. And it's got some good shooters on here. All right, so let's kind of like scroll through these here. So it does actually have the original 1943 game on there as well. So you can see there are a bunch of them. So, and I like how it kind of gives you a preview of the game, so you know what you're playing, and you can tell there are some really cool ones. So there are, and we won't look at all of them, but I'll just kind of like quickly scroll through here. And so by plugging in this Pandora's box, which cost about this one costs about $100, I think. But it's like a specialty one. It's a themed vertical shooter one, and it's the only one out there that I found that does vertical shooters. But you can get some of the other ones for really cheap. So there's a total of 146 games on this system. So let's go ahead and let's load up one that's kind of fun. Let's see. I think my kids like this one. So all I have to do is reach down and I push the coin button, and now you can see that it's coined up, and then you hit your start button and it'll load it. As simple as that. And I did not have to mess around with the controls or anything. I plugged it into my cabinet and it just worked. I can't guarantee that that's what will be in your case. You might have to tinker with it a bit, but I mean, I was very surprised how easy it was, and I'm very surprised at the performance of this. It's very smooth and very playable. even with an LCD screen. So we'll just kind of play a little bit and you guys can get an idea. Power up. Oh, look at that. You hold down your button and you get a laser. But you're a little bit slower. Wow, I can see why my kids like this. This is fun. I have not played this one yet, so this is cool. It's like a they call these like bullet hell games, vertical shooters. And all you're doing is basically just shooting and dodging bullets, and that's it. Trying to get the high score. And what's cool about this is that, you know, in the arcade, I mean, these games are designed to just suck your quarters away. They're not designed to be easy. So if you have it this way, you can just keep adding quarters and you can actually beat the game. I don't think I ever had enough quarters to ever beat an entire game at the arcade. Oh no. Oh. So you just kind of have to watch and dodge your bullets here. And with these games, if you get yourself in the corner, man, you can get yourself in trouble. So anyways, there's level 1 of that one. And then when you want to exit the game, all you do is hit the coin button and the start button at the same time, and you're right back to the menu. So it's very user friendly. These Pandora box boards are probably your easiest option to get into the arcade hobby, and I'll show you why. All right, guys. So that was my one and only Pandora box setup that I have in my arcade collection. I chose that just because I wanted something that was simple and easy, and I'd always wanted to try the Pandora boxes. And honestly, I'll probably do another one eventually, but that's the only one I have right now. So I have got my screen pulled up here, my web browser, and I'm just on Amazon. And I'll show you guys how you can get something similar to this. Now, if you want that particular one with the vertical shooter, I had to get it off of AliExpress. And I'm not even sure, I couldn't find it. I'm not even sure it's even available anymore, but you can kind of like look around for it. It's called Air Attack. So let's take a look at what options we have. And I'm going to show you the Amazon options because I think that's the safest route to buy one of these. And they just offer them just like normal. So what I did is up in the search bar, all I did was search for Pandora's Box Arcade. And as we scroll down, you can see that there is tons of options for getting a Pandora's box. You can see that they're not terribly expensive. They're around $120, $130. And every once in a while you can find one for under $100, like this one right here for $99. So I pulled up some options here. And so let's click to the first tab. And these options were some that stood out to me and I thought were kind of cool. So this one was cool because it's like you just hook it up to your TV and these controllers just kind of sit on the coffee table in front of you, or you can set them on your lap. But it comes with two, so you can do a 2-player. It comes pre-set up for 2 players, which is pretty cool. So this one, they say that it has the latest 12-core processor, which improves the speed and the running of the games. I think that pretty much any of these newer ones are going to run really smooth. They're just going to give you some specs and whatnot. But if you're really worried about it, go down and read the reviews of it. And that will really tell you. And this one apparently does not have any reviews. So this might not be a good option. But I did like kind of how it was a two 2-player setup. And this one also has an option for you to plug in a couple generic USB controllers and go up to 4-player and play some of the 4-player games that they have. This one is boasting 35,000 games in one. That's insane. I would imagine that this would have just about every arcade game that you could even imagine on here. And most of these are going to be like genuine arcade games where you have to actually push the coin button to put a coin in. So they're using the original ROMs from the original arcade machines. And they've got some crazy operating system that's running in the background that's making this all work. And they can offer it for a really, really inexpensive price. That's the first one. The next one is like almost exactly the same, except it comes with a 2-player all-in-one pedestal stick. So this is cool because you can actually, if you wanted to, you could just mount this on a pedestal and mount a TV on the wall, and you could have an arcade experience, stand-up arcade experience. You can also just take an existing arcade cabinet, take the original controller off, and pop this one in. You might have to jimmy it and get creative, but it's an option, especially if you have a gutted arcade cabinet that you got from your local arcade or whatever, or that somebody had in their garage and they just wanted to get rid of. And so you took it, might have some cool artwork and not have any controllers or monitor or anything in it. This is a really good option. You can pop this in, put in a generic computer monitor, hook it up, and you're set. And then they have the standalone option. And this one was one of the only standalone options I could find. This is the Pandora Saga DX Plus. This one has 3,000 horizontal games on it. So it's for a vertical cabinet. So similar to what I was showing you, but it probably has more than just vertical shooters. It has a ton of different games, and I'm sure like Pac-Man is a vertical monitor game, and I'm sure it's on here. I thought that was a cool option. And so you can just take an existing cabinet that already has controls, already has a JAMMA harness like I talked about earlier, and already has a power supply. And this will hook up to it. And in most cases, you don't even have to do anything but hook it up to the power. And the on switch on the arcade cabinet itself will turn it on. Because all that on switch does is turn your power supply on and off. So when you turn it on, it just powers up. And that's how mine is set up. And it's awesome. I didn't have to change anything on that cabinet. Any of the controls, anyways. I did replace the monitor. All right, and here's another option. This one is up to 4-player, and this one is it's got 29,800 games. It's pretty specific there. This one can go up to 4-player. So, and what it is it's a kit. It comes with the arcade board. It comes with your like a mini JAMMA harness that plugs in right back here. So you just hook up your controllers to the proper wiring, and they'll have a diagram and a layout for you when you buy it, and you can get it and hook it up. So I thought this was a really cool option. There's another option. Let me see if I can find it right here. It's a little bit different. This one has close to 10,000 games on it. But what I thought was interesting is that this one actually comes with a coin box. So you can mount that to the side of your pedestal or right to your cabinet, and you can actually use quarters. I thought that was kind of cool that they included that. And still, for an under $100 price, and you get all the controls, you get the board, you get a power supply, you get your wiring harness, and you get a coin door. I mean, how cool is that? So I thought that was a really cool option. Now this is like a very DIY option. So you can use this to like you could build your own arcade cabinet from scratch and use this kit and be able to put quarters into your machine and have that like quarter experience. My machine does quarters, but I don't I used to use it, but I just don't anymore. But you could like get a bucket of like arcade tokens and you could just set them right there and they could just put the arcade tokens in. Really good, really cool option this one is, and it comes in multiple colors. So you got like a green and yellow, and then you got a blue and red, and then if you look at the controls, the buttons are all different colors as well. And then you have a red and blue, all the controller and buttons option. I kind of like that. I like the solid colors because then it's like a very distinct. This is player one. This is player two. So this is a really cool kit, and I don't know. Maybe in the future, sometime I will actually do a build with this with a kit like this. This is really cool. All right. Last thing I wanted to show you is if you have a arcade cabinet that doesn't have any, it's just stripped down and you just need some controls, this will give you two player controls and they light up, which is really cool. They got LEDs in them. And so you would just hook them right into these little boards are hard to see, but all you do is you take the wires, which is this option, this thing right here, and you hook up the wires to these buttons and the controllers, and then you just plug them into these boards. You got a player one and a player two, and then it just essentially makes it into a USB controller. And so when you buy a Pandora box, though, you got to make sure that it supports USB controls, and they have those out there. So I thought that was kind of cool. So there's some options for you right there on Amazon, and all I did was search Pandora's box arcade, and it gives you multiple options. So you can look through here and find the option that will work the best for you. So the last thing I wanted to show you is just kind of like how I go about finding an arcade cabinet. Option one is to go to your local arcade. Make sure it's like a really good one and like a homebrew one, not like a generic like Dave and Buster's or something. You want something that's you know a local brick and mortar business, and go in and just say, hey, do you got any old arcade cabinets that don't work in the back that you would sell me? And oftentimes they'll be like, yeah, and they'll sell them to you for under $100. You don't really get to choose what kind you want or whatnot, but oftentimes you can find a good one. Like I got that Smash TV at my local arcade, traded some parts for it, and then I brought it home. It was in rough shape, but I brought it home. I painted it. It was a project with my kids, and we had a blast doing it. And to see like when you work on a project like that, and you do it with your kids, or you do it and you complete it, and then you can stand up to it and actually grab the control and play a game on it, and it's a really cool piece of furniture in your home that is very much a conversation piece. And when people come over, they can play it. It's really quite fun to kind of DIY it yourself. So here's my what I did is I searched for arcade machines on the Facebook market, and I have it set to my local area, which I did like a 200-mile radius or something. So it covers, I'm in Utah, so it covers all of the Salt Lake area, and there's a lot more options. If you live in a big city, get on here. You can almost always find a good option. So like right here, right off the bat, here's one for $340. And we'll click on it, and it's not the best looking arcade cabinet in the world. And you can see somebody tried to like fix this thing up, but this is very much doable. You could put your own art on there. It would be straight from scratch. But I mean, he's already. It looks like he's selling it with the components, so he's already got it set up for you. You just got to make it look cool. And for $340 to have a full size arcade cabinet in your home, that's pretty cool. Um, the arcade one up machines that are just tiny little things, and they're I have one in my collection, but I'm not a huge fan of the arcade one ups. Um, I like to have like the full size one, but the arcade one ups are a really good option if you don't have the space available for a full size machine in your home. You can get an arcade one up, and it'll be a smaller one, and you can mod it, and you can put these right in them as well. Just Google up how do I mod my arcade one up machine with a Pandora's box, and there is a video out there that will show you how to do it. So that's one option, and we'll just kind of scroll through here and see what we can find. This is how I found my driving arcade, and I've pulled like components off of. I've gotten components for it, like I bought my wheel and my machine all off of Facebook Market, and then just put it together. It's still a work in progress, but that's kind of what I like. I like to have a have it be kind of like an ever evolving project, kind of just always making those machines a little bit cooler. It's fun. So if you want to get a one up machine, they got some for like 250, which is, in my opinion, I think 250 is even too expensive for a one up machine. But if it's fully modded and somebody's selling it already pre-modded, then it's probably worth it. But but you can sometimes walk into Walmart and get them for cheaper than 250. So here's another option for around the 300 range, and it looks like he's got different ones. So he's got a midway baseball table for arcade Gunsmoke. Oh, that's the two different ones. He's got a worded weird here. But then he's got a Marvel versus Street Fighter, and these ones are fully working, I believe. So maybe these wouldn't be a good option, but these are actually really good prices for a fully working machine. All right. Let's see. I'm not seeing any that are like doesn't work. There's usually some, but not today. These little Mac Minis are awesome for creating like your own emulated arcade boards. And there's a program called Batocera that you just put it on a USB stick, you plug it into this little Mac Mini, and it is a powerful little emulation device. Really cool. I'll have to do a video on that sometime. So, anyways, just go through here, you look for a good deal. That's all I do. And sometimes it takes days of looking. That's the thing. Like, if you want a really good deal, take your time. You don't have to rush into anything. Just try and find a really good deal. But I think your best option is to go to your local arcades and just ask them if they have any broke down machines that they want to get rid of. And oftentimes they'll just say yeah, and they'll just name a price and take it. All right, I think we're gonna end there. There's just some options. This is kind of like super easy mode for adding arcade into your home. There are some DIY components to it, but if you have a machine, just get a Pandora box. You can just plug it right into the JAMMA harness and turn it on, and it almost always works. If not, go into the settings, tweak them a bit, and make sure that it's set up the way that you like. They make it pretty easy. We're gonna end the video there. I hope you guys found some value in this, and if you did, like, give me a like, give me a subscribe. It really helps my channel. I'm a small channel. I'm trying to grow, and I'm gonna be delivering you guys some of my knowledge that I've gained over the years, not just with arcade, but also with like, I did a video on how to decorate my game room and on a budget, and so check it out and check out some of my other stuff. Uh, Anything you do, watching it, giving me a like, giving me a subscribe, it helps me out, and I appreciate it a lot. So until next time, I want you guys to stay rad and stay retro. Just do it.